single day.
Charlotte County Sheriff Bill Prummell is Baker acting for profit. He gets to illegally kidnap your kid for 3 days, costing you $3 grand. And he doesn't give a shit. Are Baker acts rising here? Community safety pressures post-Parkland felt locally. By Ann Easker, staff writer. Port Charlotte. Like the rest of the state, Charlotte County has seen a climb in Baker acts rates for minors, up by more than 26% in the latest report from the Baker Act Reporting Center for fiscal year 2017 to 2018. A story from the Tampa Bay Times points to numerous issues surrounding the Baker Acts, especially those initiated in schools, but Charlotte Behavioral Health Care CEO Victoria Scanlon said the article focused on a handful of families where it didn't go well, without taking into account thousands and thousands of other scenarios. Numbers for Baker acts in schools are not tracked by the state, nor by CBHC. Scanlon said the general increase of Baker acts in Charlotte County is in part due to the fact that CBHC recently expanded its facility and takes Baker acts from DeSoto and other counties when needed. Even with that factored in, Baker acts are increasing in Charlotte County, where the youth suicide rate has also escalated. Even back in C. Rising, 4A. Rising. From page 1A. 2013, the Department of Health stated 25% of Florida high school students reported feeling hopeless for a period of 2 weeks or longer, a qualification for depression. Scanlon said the mental health crisis is a product of increased substance abuse and trauma, as well as the rise of social media, which tends to exacerbate mental health conditions that already exist. You reach a point where there are limited resources to keep kids safe, Scanlon said. If you can intervene and if there are other services, we do divert plenty of kids. But ultimately, our top goal is that kids are safe. CBHC has been working with the schools to try and identify issues earlier so students don't reach that point of crisis. The idea is we would identify if a youth was depressed, and identify it earlier, before it led to self-harm and suicidal thinking, she said. That's one of the initiatives we've been working on. There's also the Community Action Teams, CAT, which provide 24/7 support to children with significant mental health or substance abuse diagnoses. Kids in the CAT program are often Baker acted multiple times prior to their stabilization. When you have the right resources in place and are willing to keep people in the community, we'll see a dent in the Baker Act, she said. Since the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland in February of 2018, Scanlon said there's a big pressure on law enforcement, schools, and mental health professionals to keep the community safe. I think that everybody feels a tremendous sense of responsibility to keep the community safe and to keep the individual safe, she said. We're not always going to get it right. Is it better to be more conservative or is it better not to be? Ultimately they're going to be held responsible for the decision they make. Baker acts in Sarasota County. In Sarasota County, there's been 103 Baker acts in schools this year. Last year, the school had at least 43, but spokesperson Kelsey Wheely said that's not a complete number, since the district's school resource officers were not present in all traditional public schools at that time. Wheely said mental health professionals in the schools first assess students for suicidal ideation and self-harm, then refer them to school resource officers for Baker Act initiation if needed. We use the Baker Act as infrequently as possible, after exhausting a menu of other options to try and assist a student, she said. However, if certain indications are exhibited or present themselves, our SROs are obligated to initiate the Baker Act. This is done so as calmly as possible while still ensuring the safety and security of the student and any surrounding staff. Wheely said the district has made a point to enhance its mental health education and awareness training for all staff members, since the first point of contact for a student during the day may be their school bus driver or cafeteria attendant. All staff members were required to take online and in-person mental health training models this year. The online modules simulated conversations with parents and students about mental health and behavioral issues in a non-threatening environment, and in-person sessions recap the online modules and allow for group discussion on the subject matter. For years our district has had a proactive approach to connecting students and families with resources to assist with mental or behavioral health concerns, she said. To assist members of our school communities during times of need, the school crisis team will go directly to school campuses to speak with anyone, staff, teacher, or student alike, that needs support. Email, n.easker@yourzone.com. I think that everybody feels a tremendous sense of responsibility to keep the community safe and to keep the individual safe. Victoria Scanlon, Charlotte Behavioral Healthcare CEO.
Hey Sherri County, this is Sherri County COPWATCH. I am using any video here under fair use if you have criticism, reporting, teaching, etc. And please donate. I do not make money from YouTube, and there are different ways to donate in the video links. Thanks.